Actress Nina Dobrev and Olympian Shaun White are officially an item. We know what you're thinking. What could a pro snowboarder and a former CW star possibly have in common? Well, it turns out quite a lot. Here's a look inside Shaun White and Nina Dobrev's relationship. Shaun White and Nina Dobrev are a wildly unlikely couple, and that fact is only emphasized by the actress's dating history. The former Vampire Diaries star hasn't dated anyone quite like White before, at least not that we know of, because she's super private. In fact, Dobrev's mostly stuck to actors, even dabbling in the dangerous art of dating her co-stars. In the past, Dobrev has had a rumored romance with Degrassi co-star Evan Williams, a reported fling with Vampire Diaries co-star Chris Wood, and a full-fledged long-term relationship with Ian Somerhalder, who also starred on The Vampire Diaries. Beyond that, she's been linked to James Marsden, Liam Hemsworth, and Orlando Bloom. Needless to say, they're all actors. Dobrev hasn't dated a pro athlete before, and those close to her have apparently taken notice. A so-called insider who spoke to E! claimed, "Nina's friends are pleasantly surprised. Shaun is a departure from previous guys Nina has been with." Nina Dobrev is actually super tight with her ex-boyfriend Ian Somerhalder and his wife Nikki Reed. According to Insider, the former couple, who both starred on The Vampire Diaries, dated for 3 years before calling it quits in 2013. In a 2019 episode of Watch What Happens Live, a fan called in to ask Dobrev if it was weird that she was friends with both Somerhalder and Reed after the pair tied the knot, and she replied,
I don't think that's weird at all. I think that's great.
It's awesome.
I think why can't everyone be friends?
Dobrev also revealed, "I think that they have a beautiful baby and they are happy, and so am I. And what's bad about that?" Meanwhile, in 2015, she told E! "We didn't break up because anything bad happened or because there wasn't love or friendship. I love him, and the friendship is still strong, and I think he's great and I care about him. And that didn't change. Yes, we're professional, and that's fine. We were friends long before we dated, and we still are now." Shaun White may be nothing like anyone Nina Dobrev has dated in the past, but both stars have incredible work ethics. This likely stems from the fact that both Dobrev and White started their careers as kids and have been aggressively working ever since. White was discovered by Tony Hawk and landed a Burton sponsorship at the age of 7.
They called him the Flying Tomato, and it was all about his red hair and his freckles.
At 13, he became a pro snowboarder. 3 years later, he became the youngest snowboarder in history to win at the US Open. At 19, he won his first Olympic gold medal. Basically, he's been grinding since most of us were in second grade. Meanwhile, Dobrev got her professional start a little bit later. In 2006, the actress was 17 years old when she debuted on Degrassi: The Next Generation. This was her breakthrough, which she'd hold on to for 3 years until jumping over to The Vampire Diaries. Basically, this couple deserves a vacation. Nina Dobrev and Shaun White appear to be moving quickly, but could it be a case of the rebounds? According to E! The actress had been dating screenwriter Grant Mellon for less than a year when they pulled the plug in November 2019, just 4 months before she was publicly spotted on a date with White. Now, Dobrev is extremely private about her relationships, so there's no real way to know exactly when things fizzled out. But at the time, a source told the tabloid that Mellon hadn't come to one of her events in about a month, and she hadn't mentioned him either. Dobrev reportedly didn't even bother telling anyone about the breakup. White, on the other hand, hasn't been seriously romantically linked to anyone since the summer of 2019, when he was last photographed with his former long-term girlfriend, Phantogram's lead singer, Sarah Barthol. The pair had been together for 5 years. The COVID-19 pandemic has done 2 things to the world of Hollywood relationships. First, it's driven apart couples who've realized that spending 24/7 with their spouse is actually really hard. For instance, Kristen Cavallari and Jay Cutler called it quits after a decade, while Colton Underwood and Cassie Randolph and Casey Musgraves and Rustin Kelly also split. However, the pandemic has also allowed new romances to flourish, arguably a lot quicker than they might have under normal circumstances. For their part, Nina Dobrev and Shaun White appear to be in this happy loved-up camp. According to People, Dobrev and White were first romantically linked in March 2020 as shutdown swept the nation in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. They were spotted riding bikes together in Malibu, where White miraculously held Dobrev's dog like a purse as he steered with one hand. The new couple were apparently keeping a safe distance from each other throughout the date, but their romance blossomed from there. Both Nina Dobrev and Shaun White are very private about their relationships, but their love story just had to be shared with the world. Dobrev was dropping hints about her quarantine beau before the pair became Instagram official, suggesting that she wanted the world to find out about her new romance. In April 2020, a month after the pair were spotted riding bikes together on their first public, socially distanced date, Dobrev posted a cheeky IGTV video to promote the practice of safely washing groceries amidst the pandemic and captioned the clip, "You can never be too cautious. Don't just wash your hands, wash the groceries when you come back from the store. Some reports say that COVID can live on plastic, cardboard, and produce for multiple days. I take extra measures to make sure I'm staying safe at home. Hope you are too." In the funny video, the actress had a mysterious helper acting as her hands. According to People, this was Shaun White, and fans reportedly noticed the hints Dobrev was dropping about his identity. First, she claimed the video was inspired by Dakota Johnson, who made a similar post with her boyfriend, Chris Martin, a month prior. Next, the arm had a tattoo that looked exactly like White's tattoo. Basically, the secret was out. Nina Dobrev and Shaun White's relationship seemingly moved at warp speed. They went from having careful, socially distant dates at the end of March 2020 to being literal roommates just 2 months later. Nonetheless, their whirlwind relationship appears to be going well. According to Us Weekly, the swift ascent of Dobrev and White's relationship can be attributed to COVID-19. They decided to shack up and weather the storm together, though it's not clear whose house they're holed up in. A source cited by the magazine claimed, "Shaun and Nina have really been enjoying quarantining and living together. They're super compatible and both free-spirited people. They're very comfortable around each other and both supportive of one another in their fields." Nina Dobrev and Shaun White seem to share a deep, deep trust. So much trust, in fact, that White allowed Dobrev to cut his famous hair during the pandemic. White's quarantine haircut ushered in a new era for the stars' relationship, as it marked them going Instagram official in May 2020. White even shared glowing before and after pictures of the haircut in a separate post with the caption, "My hairstylist said he wouldn't, so she did." Honestly, Dobrev kind of nailed it, but that doesn't matter because it seems like White went to the professionals a couple of weeks later as he emerged with new icy white locks. According to People, the new hair was Dobrev approved, as the actress commented on White's photo with a white heart emoji. Nina Dobrev is a big deal to Shaun White because the star has rarely admitted he's seeing someone. One of the only times he's actually publicly acknowledged a relationship was when he was dating the lead singer of Phantogram, and they were together for 5 years. He didn't even speak about their split either. While Hollywood Life reported that White was last pictured with the musician in April 2019, he spoke about her in August 2019 in the Sydney Morning Herald and said, "Sarah is a genuine and beautiful person. I travel so much and so does she, but we make an effort to keep it together. I'm not in the kids and marriage headspace now, but one day for sure." Though White generally keeps his mouth shut, it's not because he's permanently single. There have been other women, we just didn't know about it. In his interview with the Sydney Morning Herald, the athlete revealed that he dated fellow snowboarder Tora Bright when he was 16 years old, but kept it very quiet. White revealed, "Tora and I shared something very special, but we were mindful that we didn't want the media attention. We hid our relationship and spent a lot of time together holding hands at the movies. When she moved to Utah, things slowly fizzled out." The star has a proven track record of only publicly revealing relationships when they're serious, and it looks like Dobrev fits the bill.
Honestly, it hasn't even sunk in yet. I'm tripping out still.
Nina Dobrev and Shaun White are one of the more unlikely Hollywood couples, and it's not even clear how they met. However, according to reports, the couple's love story actually makes a lot of sense. Of the partnership, a source told People, "Their friends were surprised at first about the relationship, but now that they've seen them together, it actually makes a lot of sense. They're both goofy and have a similar sense of humor and are super adventurous. They have plenty in common." It would appear as though Dobrev and White are two peas in a pod. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Nicki Swift videos about your favorite celebs are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.